Right now, Manchester United are sitting in a position that demands patience, sharp decision-making, and a clear vision for the future. There is no single quiet story circling this club at the moment. There are multiple fires burning at the same time. A transfer that depends on another club's results. A managerial situation that is slowly moving toward a resolution. A young talent demanding to be noticed. A defensive target locked behind a massive price tag. And a midfield legend walking out the door with something very interesting to say on his way out. Every single one of these threads connects to what Manchester United become next season. And today, we are going to pull every single thread apart and examine exactly what it means. Welcome to Adam United Analyst. Let us get straight into it. Here is what makes this moment so important. Manchester United are not just preparing for a new season. The situation is one of total reconstruction. The manager who was in place at the start of this season, Ruben Amorim, is gone. The summer transfer window is approaching. Key players are either departing or heading into uncertainty. And the club needs to make the right calls on every level, from the first-team coach all the way down to which young academy players deserve their chance. Every decision made between now and the start of next season will shape what Manchester United look like for years to come. That is the weight of this moment. That is why every single update matters. If you want this level of detailed, patient and honest analysis on everything happening at Old Trafford, then hit that subscribe button right now. This channel exists for the supporters who want the full picture, not the headlines, but the real meaning behind what is happening. Subscribe and let us continue. Rasmus Hojlund and the Napoli situation. Let us begin with the story that carries the most immediate consequence for Manchester United's finances this summer. It is now clear that Rasmus Hojlund will not play for Manchester United again. The separation between club and player happened last summer, and the forward moved to Napoli on a loan arrangement. But this is not a simple loan. The situation is structured around a specific clause. Napoli have the option to sign Hojlund permanently for £38 million. However, that clause is only activated under one condition. Napoli must qualify for the Champions League. That condition is what makes everything so complicated right now. On May 11th, Napoli suffered a shock home defeat to Bologna. The details of that match tell a story on their own. Napoli had fought back from 2 goals down to level the score. They looked like they had earned a hard-fought draw. Then, deep into injury time, Bologna scored a winner. It was a devastating result. Not just emotionally, but strategically. The evidence suggests that this result has put Manchester United's £38 million transfer fee in genuine doubt. Here is why. Before that defeat, Napoli were in second place in Serie A. They remained in second place after the result, but the gap above fifth place collapsed from 6 points to just 3 points. 5 places and 5 clubs are now separated by the smallest of margins, with only 2 games remaining in the Italian season. The current picture is this. In first place, Inter Milan have 85 points and are champions. In second place, Napoli have 70 points. In third place, Juventus are on 68 points. In fourth place, AC Milan have 67 points. In fifth place, AS Roma also have 67 points. And in sixth place, Como have 65 points. Only the top 4 qualify for the Champions League. The reality for Manchester United is that 3 points is not a safe lead with 2 games remaining. Roma in 5th are right behind Napoli, and Como in 6th are only 5 points back. Now, let us look at Napoli's remaining fixtures. Their next game is away to Pisa, who are currently at the bottom of the Italian league table. That should be a manageable result. Their final game is at home to Udinese, who are sitting in 10th place and have nothing meaningful to play for this season. On paper, Napoli should finish the job. But the Bologna result showed exactly why nothing can be taken for granted. If Napoli drop points in either of those 2 games and Roma or another side overtakes them, Napoli could fall out of the top 4. If that happens, the Champions League clause is not triggered. And if that clause is not triggered, Napoli could attempt to walk away from the £38 million deal, or at minimum, try to renegotiate the terms. The situation is clear. Manchester United are waiting. They are depending on a club that just lost at home to a side chasing an 8th place finish. That is not the kind of dependency any club wants when a significant transfer fee is on the line. There is also the matter of Hojlund's recent form. His wait for a goal continues, having not scored since early March. In the loss to Bologna, he did contribute an assist, but he was unable to find the net himself. He finishes the regular campaign on 10 league goals for the season. The analysis here is straightforward. Manchester United need Napoli to hold their nerve over 2 more matches If Napoli secure Champions League football, the £38 million comes in and the Hojlund chapter is officially closed. If Napoli stumble, this saga has more chapters to write. Michael Carrick in the permanent role. Now let us move to one of the most significant managerial developments at Old Trafford right now. Two separate and credible accounts are reporting the same thing. Here is what they say, exactly as reported. From United exclusive, the Post reads, quote, "The expectation is for United to offer Michael Carrick the permanent head coach role for next season. No concrete talks or official decision has been made yet, but it is looking increasingly likely that the club want to continue with the 44-year-old following impressive past months." End quote. From Centre Devils, the Post reads, quote, "The expectation is for Manchester United to offer Michael Carrick the permanent head coach role for next season. No concrete talks or official decision has been made yet, but it is looking increasingly likely that the club want to continue with him." End quote. Now here is my analysis of this. When two separate, well-followed United sources are reporting the exact same expectation independently, it tells you this is not speculation. This is a picture forming from multiple angles pointing in the same direction. The language used in both posts is careful and honest. No concrete talks, no official decision, but the expectation is forming. The evidence suggests the board have been impressed by what Carrick has delivered in the months since he took temporary charge following Amorim's departure. The fact that the reporting describes his recent months as impressive is significant. This is not a manager clinging to a position. This appears to be a manager building a genuine case for permanence. From a pure analytical standpoint, this makes a degree of sense. United are heading into a summer of major rebuilding. Bringing in a completely new permanent manager from outside at this stage would add another layer of disruption to a squad that has already had enormous instability this season. Carrick knows the players appear to respond to him, and continuity into pre-season is not a small thing when you consider how much transition is already happening across the squad. However, it is important to state what has not been confirmed. There are no concrete talks, there is no official decision. This remains an expectation, not an announcement. Any viewer of this channel who hears a claim that Carrick is officially the permanent manager should know that it's not confirmed by anything reported as of today, May 12th. Watch this space carefully over the coming weeks. Strahinja Pavlovic and the transfer interest. Now we move to a transfer story that carries both excitement and a very clear obstacle. Here is what was posted by Simply United, and I will read it directly. Quote, "Manchester United remain interested in Strahinja Pavlovic, but AC Milan currently see the Serbian defender as untouchable and value him at 40 million to 50 million euros." End quote. That report is sourced from Gazzetta. And here is the more detailed account from Stretford End. Quote, "Manchester United hold a concrete long-term interest in signing Strahinja Pavlovic, with the club continuing to monitor the AC Milan defender closely. The Serbian centre-back is highly valued at Milan, who currently consider him untouchable and an important part of their future plans. AC Milan reportedly value Pavlovic between 40 million and 50 million euros. His current contract runs until 2028, with the option of a further year. However, Milan's stance could soften if they fail to qualify for the Champions League, as financial pressures may force the club to reconsider a potential sale." End quote. Now here is my analysis. The reality for Manchester United in this situation is that there are two very different possible outcomes depending on what happens in Serie A over the final two match days of the Italian season. Look at the Serie A table again. AC Milan are in 4th place on 67 points. AS Roma are level with them in 5th. The gap is on goal difference only. That means Milan's Champions League qualification is not guaranteed, and the reporting is very specific on this point. If Milan miss out on the Champions League, the financial pressure that follows could force them to reconsider their position on Pavlovic. United are described as holding concrete long-term interest. That is an important phrase. It is not casual monitoring. It is not vague appreciation. It is described as concrete. That tells you United's recruitment team have done their work on this player and he fits what they want to build. The obstacle right now is clear. Milan consider him untouchable. His contract runs until 2028. He is seen as a key part of Milan's future. If Milan secure Champions League football, there is almost no reason for them to sell. But if Milan drop into the Europa League, the financial situation changes completely. And that is where United's interest could transform from long-term monitoring into genuine negotiation. What is clear from the evidence is this. United are watching this very carefully. They are not rushing. They are allowing the circumstances around the player to potentially shift in their favour. Whether that happens depends entirely on results over the next 2 weeks in Italy. This is a rumour at this stage. This is not a completed deal. This is not an agreed transfer. It is confirmed interest against the backdrop of enormous resistance from the selling club. Viewers of this channel should treat it exactly as that. Ederson and Atalanta, here is another transfer name circling in the background. Fabrizio Romano posted the following, and here are the exact words. Quote, Atalanta CEO Luca Percassi. Ederson, we have not received any official bids so far. There are clubs interested, but it is still early. We will see at the right moment, end quote. That was told to Sky. My analysis of this is brief but important. The situation is simple. Atalanta have confirmed that no official bid has arrived for Ederson. The CEO himself addressed it directly. That level of transparency from a club's leadership is usually a signal that they want to manage expectations publicly, and also a signal that they acknowledge the interest is real enough to comment on. What is not confirmed is which clubs are interested. The reporting does not name Manchester United in connection with Ederson specifically. I am analysing this as a story circling in the broader context of United's summer midfield plans. But to be precise and accurate with this channel's viewers, no direct United link to Ederson is stated in what has been reported today. It remains a story to watch, particularly given United's midfield requirements heading into next season. Casemiro on the new generation. This one is different from the transfer news, but it carries genuine analytical weight. Here is what Casemiro said, as posted by United District and source from Rio Meets. Quote, the new generation, they are about statistics. You finish the game, and he has 97% pass accuracy. What passes? Just passing back and back, negative passes. You need to play forward. It does not matter if you lose the ball, end quote. Now, here is my analysis. This quote from Casemiro is fascinating in its honesty and its timing. The man is clearly speaking from experience at the highest level of the game. He is making a philosophical point about how the modern approach to measuring performance through statistics can actually disguise poor decision-making on the pitch. A player who plays only safe backward passes can finish a game with exceptional pass accuracy numbers, but those numbers hide the fact that the player never took a risk, never played a forward pass that could unlock a defense, and never contributed to attacking progression in a meaningful way. It is now clear that Casemiro is speaking from a place of genuine conviction about this. The evidence suggests this is not a casual observation. This is a considered view from a player who spent decades winning at the very highest level. Whether you agree with his view or not, the analytical point he is making is legitimate. Statistics alone do not capture the full picture of a footballer's contribution to a team. Positive risk-taking does not always show up in the numbers, and a player who always plays the safe option may look good in a stat sheet while limiting his team's ability to progress the ball effectively. Paul Merson on Liverpool versus Manchester United. Here is exactly what Paul Merson said, as reported by United Truthful. Quote, Liverpool will finish above Manchester United next season, and that is without knowing what happens this summer. Why? So many players have had good seasons for Manchester United, and hardly anyone has for Liverpool, bar Szoboszlai. You go through Manchester United's team, and there are 6 or 7 players who have been above average this season. Isak will be fit. Wirtz will have a year in the league. I am confident Liverpool will finish above Manchester United. A lot has gone on at Liverpool. I do feel sorry for them with everything that has gone on. They have had a lot of injuries too, end quote. Now, here is my analysis of Messon's position. The situation is that Messon is offering a prediction based on his reading of where both clubs are heading. He acknowledges something interesting. He admits that Manchester United had more individually impressive performances this season than Liverpool had across their squad. That is a point worth noting because it suggests United have a base of talent that performed despite a difficult season. His argument for Liverpool finishing higher next season rests on 2 names. Isak and Wirtz, he believes those 2 additions will elevate Liverpool significantly. That is his reasoning. He also acknowledges Liverpool have had injury problems and other difficulties. From a purely analytical standpoint, this is a prediction, not a confirmed outcome. It is one analyst's view based on his reading of the summer ahead. United's own trajectory depends heavily on what decisions are made in the transfer window, whether Carrick is confirmed as permanent manager, and how the squad is rebuilt around the departures and arrivals of this summer. At this point, neither outcome is set in stone. What is clear is that both clubs have significant work to do before the new season begins. Messon's prediction is noted. It is not accepted as fact. It remains an opinion. Jacob Deainy and the future of the midfield. Now let us turn to one of the most genuinely exciting stories at Carrington right now. Jacob Deainy is 18 years old. He went out on loan to St Mirren in the Scottish Premiership mid-season, and the results have been remarkable by every measure available. The situation is that Deainy scored on his debut for St Mirren. He has gone on to start 14 games for the club. He was part of a League Cup semi-final against Celtic that went all the way to extra time. These are not soft appearances in quiet fixtures. He has been tested in competitive, meaningful matches at a senior level, and he has delivered consistently. Now, Deainy has spoken publicly and without hesitation about his ambitions. Here are his exact words from his conversation with BBC Sport. Quote, "Those games in pre-season would definitely be something I would like to take part in. I feel I am at a stage now where I do want to keep playing men's football because I feel I have proved I can do it. I believe that I can play for Manchester United. It is something I have worked at from being knee-high when I first started kicking a ball," end quote. The evidence suggests this is not arrogance, it is clarity. The young midfielder knows what he wants, and he has done the work to build a legitimate case for it. Now, here is where the analytical context becomes very important. The reality for Manchester United's midfield heading into pre-season is this. Kobbie Mainoo will be away at the World Cup with England. Manuel Ugarte will be away at the World Cup with Uruguay. The only two senior midfielders in the squad during pre-season preparations will be unavailable. Casemiro is departing. That is confirmed. United will look to make additions in the transfer market, but whether those new signings are available in time for pre-season depends on the speed of negotiations and each player's involvement in the World Cup. That process could easily drag into the summer. What that leaves is a genuine opening. Deainy, along with other academy talents, including the Fletcher twins, Dan Gore and Sekil Kone, will be competing for game time in pre-season. The loan spell at St Mirren positions Deainy ahead of some of those names. He has played 14 games in a competitive professional league. That experience at senior level is something his academy peers have not had in the same way this season. Carrington is described as being genuinely pleased with what Deainy has produced at St Mirren. The 18-year-old is not resting on the confidence he has built. He is actively pushing to use pre-season as his platform. The analysis here is clear. If Deainy handles pre-season the way he has handled his loan spell, he will be difficult to ignore. Whether that translates into a squad role for the season ahead is another question. But the conversation about his future at Manchester United has moved from potential to possibility, and that shift matters. Bringing it all together, let's now step back and look at the full picture of where Manchester United stand on May 12, 2026. The Rasmus Hojlund situation is unresolved. £38 million is sitting in a grey area dependent entirely on Napoli holding their nerve over two final Serie A matches. The clause exists. The buyer is willing. The conditions just need to be met. Manchester United are watching and waiting with their hands tied. The managerial picture is moving toward clarity. The expectation forming around Michael Carrick suggests the club have made their assessment internally and are leaning toward offering him the job permanently. No contract has been signed. No announcement has been made. But the direction appears clear. And for a club in rebuilding mode, continuity in the dugout is not a small advantage going into a summer of major changes. The defensive transfer target is identified. Strahinja Pavlovic is a player United want. The interest is described as concrete and long-term, but the obstacle is real. AC Milan's valuation, their current stance, and his contract length all create significant barriers. The only scenario in which those barriers begin to lower involves Milan missing out on the Champions League. And as of today, that outcome remains possible, but not confirmed. Jacob Deainy represents something important for the academy. He is 18 years old, and he has already done what many young players at United have struggled to do. He has gone out on loan, played consistently, performed in big matches, and come back with the confidence to demand a chance at the first team level. His moment is coming. Pre-season is where he will either prove himself or step back. Based on everything seen from him this season, the signs are genuinely encouraging. And the midfield picture remains one of United's most pressing needs. Casemiro is leaving. Mainoo and Ugarte will be at the World Cup. Whoever United recruit will need time. In the meantime, the academy has players ready to show what they can do. The organisation needs to give them that platform seriously, not as a gesture, but as a genuine evaluation. The Ederson situation remains early and vague. No bid has been received by Atalanta. Interest exists from unnamed clubs. There is nothing to anchor firmly to Manchester United at this point. And Paul Merson's prediction that Liverpool will finish above Manchester United next season is noted. It is one analyst's view. It is based on Liverpool's incoming talent in the form of Isak and Wirtz. It is not a certainty on either side. The reality for the club is that the next 6 weeks will define what Manchester United's next chapter looks like. Every decision, every negotiation, every conversation happening at board level and in the training ground corridors right now carries enormous weight. This channel will be here for every update, every analysis, and every story that matters to supporters who want the full picture, not the noise. If you made it to the end of this video, you are exactly the kind of supporter this channel was built for. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on any of the stories covered today. Which story do you think matters most for United's summer? The Hojlund sale, the Carrick decision, the Pavlovic interest, or something else entirely? This is Adam, United Analyst. We will see you in the next one.